Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And we're going to talk about building a spiritual defense system. Because your monkey ass need a spiritual defense system because we're getting spiritually attacked on a day-to-day basis. I mean, every motherfucking millisecond, your ass is getting spiritually attacked. So if your ass got a weak-ass shield, then believe me, your soft spot gonna be getting hit all over the goddamn place. And goddamn it, you don't want your soft spot getting hit because your soft spot is just your space. And once all that cloudy and fogginess, aka your ego and phoenix, gets shot through based upon somebody else's warcraft or warship or something like that, or warship, and then they damage all your defense systems and shit like that and get right through your shield, your soft spot is going to get hit. And therefore, it ain't much in your soft spot because that's just your space. And if a motherfucker individual or another place or thing hit you in your soft spot, you going to feel like nothing because your spirit is no thing. But your spirit likes to hide behind all its creations, aka all its mentalities, lights, phoenixes. But when you come across a motherfucking spirit or individual or place or thing that got some type of energy manifested in it that create a sword and go straight through that shit and your motherfucking soft spot get hit, your ass is gonna feel like nothing. AKA back to your ass being a motherfucking spirit, no thing. And goddamn spirits hate that. Spirits hate getting knocked out of their motherfucking creations in some way, shape, or form, goddamn it. That's why we in bodies now. But we're gonna talk about it. So check this out. We're gonna talk about building a goddamn defense system. Now this is what you need to understand. A lot of times the reason you don't have a defense system is because you came into this world very open. Now, open space, which means you came into this world open-minded. But for the most part, that open space, when we talk about space, your spirit always act as your circumference, your circle. So for the most part, space is just like a container for all the things that you're getting ready to create. You know what I'm saying? And then everything you create within your space, it becomes your state of awareness. So as a spirit, it's just your state of being. It's just your space. And then you create the halo within it. So when you come into each realm of reality to be born, you're open. You have an open space. You're open-minded. Because you don't have a mind yet. You don't have a concealed mentality. You haven't created one yet. So for the most part, based upon you being born and raised up under your location or the people that raised you and things of that nature, they start to fill in your space. And what they fill your space in with is their experiences, their mentalities, their ideas, their influences. And based upon how you adjust it as an individual, if you haven't been taught, or if you're not a wise spirit enough to know how to adjust your own individual thoughts and feelings and emotions and know how to separate from what you're getting influenced by from the external realm, which they don't teach that in this realm of reality. They do not teach spirituality in class. I repeat, religion is not a form of spirituality. This is one spirit's idea about seeing the world. And then y'all call it spirituality because this was once a spirit in a body that has dead and passed on. Otherwise, there's no actual teaching on spirituality except now. Shout out to the subconscious community, soul group. But this is the only form of spiritual teaching. So as a child, you don't learn how to construct your own spirit to develop your own mentalities. So when you receive from the external world, you start to think that this is what you have to be. And slowly but surely, these things become you. And when you start to grow up in life and go through circumstances and situations that play out as forms of resistance that show you that this ain't really you, and you have to do more than you actually have to uphold this light, to uphold this job, to uphold the way that you're looked at based upon the way your family or friends or location look at you and things of that nature, you start to feel like the world is on your shoulders. AKA, you start to feel like you have burdens. AKA, you start to feel like you have responsibilities that's not truly yours. AKA, you're carrying a whole bunch of lights, a whole bunch of loads and waters on your spirit. That's what it means. So you floating down here on the spirit, not only is you lost in the light because you're in a body, but you're carrying a whole bunch of extra lights that's not even yours. They're not even your creations, but you're forced to work for it. You're forced to hold it up in order for you to feel secure or relatable in this realm of reality based upon all of us being lost and all of us being spirits that do not know what they do. Not my soul group though, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be relatable. Goddamn it, my soul group strong though. Goddamn, we strong. We strong. Goddamn it. If you wasn't before, all I did was remind you what you already know. Now look, check this out. When we talk about being open, since we get open and get filled in with so much external references, other spirits, the ways of the world and stuff like that, then we end up being easily persuaded. We end up growing up All right, building a sufficient spiritual defense system. Now, you need a shield, but you also need to know how to sharpen your swords. Now, you need a sword. So if you're a person who ain't got no sword at all, that means you ain't got no mentality at all. You just super gullible. Then for the most part, go develop a sword. Go develop a backbone first. Now, for the most part, you need to learn how to sharpen your sword once you get it. Now, what is sharpening your sword? And I'm pretty sure y'all probably heard this saying once or twice in your life as a metaphor. But what is it technically? Sharpening your sword is gaining some rationality to your life, gaining some intellect, you know what I'm saying? The ability to think for yourself, conviction, you know what I'm saying? The ability to be sure about something, at least when it's pertaining to you. Because we're unsure about a lot of things in the external world, but goddamn it, when it comes to your spirit, what you like and what you don't like, goddamn it, you better gain some clarity in that area. Because or else another spirit will come into your life and create one for you. So motherfucker, you better gain some clarity and be sure about something when it's pertaining to your own individual space. And that's what it means by developing a mentality. You created a halo, a state of awareness around your state of being. And that state of awareness is something that you're sure about your space. And you want other people to be sure about that space. Otherwise, you're going to be gullible. You're going to look like you a person, a spirit that's in a body that don't have no sense of direction. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't have the ability to think for yourself, and then you're not rational or have enough intellect to be able to know when you're getting taken advantage of or things of that nature, that means your sword is dull. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't even have a sword, that means you're indecisive and you don't even know what to really think for yourself. You have a lot of robots and sheep out here today. But for the most part, that's another video. At least have a sword. Now, if your sword is dull, that means you may not be as wise or as intellectual enough to know when something is not going in your favor. Or something might just look like it's going in your favor, but behind closed doors, it's another thing happening. You see what I'm saying? So, for the most part, a spirit that don't have a sharpened sword look like a spirit in the esoteric realm, a spirit that don't have a sense of direction. So, you would give another spirit the courage and the energy to step into your life, and you would give them power by making them feel like they have to give you a sense of direction. They have to give your spirit a sense of somewhere to go. They have to give your spirit a sense of influence. You see what I'm saying? They have to give your spirit a map and things of that nature. And once you step into that energy of following the leader with another spirit, and that spirit don't even know where it's going, then for the most part, you ain't doing nothing but getting led to another spirit's darkness. Because we all know when a spirit think it know what's going on, but it's slightly lost, that means the light is far away. And spirits get enticed by the light. So this is a spirit that think it got a sense of direction. But when that light is far away, that's what we create. A sense of direction, but a sense of somewhere to go. But when the light is far away in the esoteric realm, that plays out in the third dimension as a spirit thinking they got a sense of direction, but in order to get there, there's a whole bunch of routines, whole bunch of patterns you got to do, whole bunch of occultic shit you got to do, whole bunch of rituals and spells you got to do, whole bunch of this, whole bunch of that you got to do before you reach your ending goal. Hell, some of y'all religious motherfucker spirits that y'all be following, especially like the Abrahamic one and shit like that, and Jesus and shit like that, some of y'all might not ever reach the ending goal. Y'all see the light, but y'all know spiritually that demon teach y'all never reach that light. So y'all, it's like y'all always be damned. Y'all never reach y'all heaven or be saved the way y'all looked at it, which I don't condone being saved, getting your spirit reserved in a container in one area in the esoteric in one space to keep creating lights in that area, aka new earths and shit like that. I don't condone that. That's a spirit that's blinding y'all, promising y'all an ending goal. You know what I'm saying? So y'all spirits get materialistic on an esoteric realm because y'all think y'all going to receive something by doing this routine or pattern. But like I said, in the esoteric realm, when a lost spirit think they got a direction and try to lead others, and then they create a light, but that light is actually too far away, that it plays out in the third dimension as someone you're following, but there's a whole bunch of things you got to do to reach the ending goal of whatever that they're getting you excited about. So for the most part, that's what you need to understand. Things are supposed to be a little bit more simple. You bring things here. You bring things here and now. Here. Where? Here. You're in your circumference. You don't supposed to go search. Once you go search, that's when you start to experience manifestations in your life as being spiritually lost. Because you in search for something. Anytime you in search for something, you're lost. You see what I'm saying? You're supposed to already know once you receive an influence. If you don't know the influence you're receiving, then you're going to start to search out for external representations to understand what you just received. And then that is the beginning stages of a spirit getting lost. But that's another video. Like I said, I teach people how to have knowledge, but develop it with wisdom. So for the most part, that's how you know the esoteric realm, when a spirit created a light too goddamn far away. And if you're following a spirit that's trying to get you enticed by a light that's actually far away, y'all ain't gonna never get to that destination, the esoteric realm. Because in the esoteric realm, you're supposed to get to places in an instant. If you want to feel happy, make your fucking self feel happy. Next time you need an external representation that to make you feel happy, you're lost a little bit because you're searching for happiness through a person, place, or thing. Develop the feeling of making yourself happy, and therefore you don't need no one else to make you happy. And see how much manifestations of motherfuckers come into your life that force their way in your life to try to make you happy. That's another video. But for the most part, like I'm saying, we get into a circumstance or a situation where motherfuckers don't understand things as a zigzag. So when you're talking about having conviction, sharpening your swords, that's having the ability to think for yourself and having true conviction, or at least being sure about something for yourself. You may not be sure about something external, but you're sure if it's something you want to do or not. And therefore, that's when you start to begin the stages of having a sharpened sword. Now, a shield is having a mentality. You know what I'm saying? Having a certain mentality where it don't matter if you're around or not. That mentality could play out as a ghost. And anytime someone else think about you, they think about that ghost first. And that ghost is a light, a body of water. And whatever information you put in that, because that's what light water is. Whatever information you put in that, they're forced to think about that. So for the most part, here's the thing. When a person don't know what you would do or what you wouldn't do in a circumstance or situation, and if you are around another group of people or group of spirits that's in bodies and stuff like that, and you're doing what they want to do, then for the most part, a person will start to take a mile from an inch. They'll start to see how far you will go in those scenarios, whether it's positive or negative. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a person that's willingly to express yourself and you're doing something that another spirit wants you to do, then they'll see how far you're willing to go with that. So you need to keep that in mind also. Now, here's the thing. When a spirit don't know what you would do or what you wouldn't do, this what makes a spirit get curious and things of that nature. So here's the thing. You don't have a shield at the moment because now you're getting ready to get attacked. You're getting ready to get your space impeded on. You're getting ready to get your soft spot tampered with a little bit because you're getting ready to have another spirit impede on your space in order to see what you would do or what you wouldn't do in that astral travel, aka in the third dimension. That astral travel play out as a circumstance or scenario or a situation we are experiencing. So once that spirit see what you do or what you wouldn't do, then this would allows another spirit to know how much percentage level of control they have over your space when y'all sharing spaces at the time, when y'all sharing spirits at the time, y'all sharing the astral travel, y'all sharing experiences at the time. This let them know how much influence they have over you, how much that you're going to swim in their light, then they have to swim in your light and water, aka how much do this person influence you more than you influence them. So this can give the spirit the kind of energy of ego a little bit. But that before we even get into that, you need to understand, right? This is a first stages of you getting spiritually attacked, because here's the thing. Having a sufficient mentality, a person's supposed to already, once they start to think about you, they're supposed to already start thinking, this person wouldn't do this, or this person would do that. And if a person don't know you, right, this is how you let a person, you lay the cards out on the table for a person can know what's going down. Then the experiences that start to play out based upon the friendship or the relationship that y'all have, it won't be no motherfucking surprises and things of that nature. Therefore, if you really with someone that share your spiritual group or spiritual path, therefore any disagreements that y'all have won't be catastrophic anyway. A lot of times so many of us are in relationships that we're trying to withhold, but we know damn well spiritually we don't need to be mixing mingling with this person's spirit. We don't need to be sharing space with this person. And just based upon memory and how much experiences we got with this person and things of that nature, we're trying to uphold a light, uphold a realm of reality, uphold a world that you're both living in. And for the most part, just because you're comfortable with it at the moment, you're not willing to give depth to that light and transform it, and y'all go y'all separate ways as spaces, as spirits. Y'all willing to suffer as spirits and rotate around all those harsh lights and things of that nature, aka harsh ideas about yourselves, feeling like you're not accomplishing anything in y'all lives, feeling like y'all holding each other back in certain things of that nature, feeling the urges to cheat and things, feeling the urge of not having to do everything with each other and wanting the space in certain areas within each other. Like, y'all have to go through all that for the rest of your life when you really don't actually have to. You see what I'm saying? And for the most part, that's understanding when sometimes you may be over influenced by another person based upon how much this person may be trying to utilize you. You know what I'm saying? Based upon your spiritual creations, they might be using you in their space, because without you being in their space, they may feel a sense of emptiness or a sense of non-worth. And for the most part, the way they treat you for you to stay in their space may be very nasty. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you need to keep that in mind also. You might just be in somebody's life for a reason that you have nothing to do with. You see what I'm saying? So you sitting back wondering why this person is treating you like this, but based upon how much you care for this person, this is what's making you hang around. And what's in this person's mind and why you're around is for a completely, totally different reason. And for the most part, you might be in this person's life to separate from them, for them to go through certain experiences, for them to know what to do or what not to do in their next level of life. But if you're not willing to jump into that energy and actually do that, you're not doing nothing but hurting yourself. So you need to keep that in mind also. But that's another video. But when we talk about spiritually building a spiritual defense system, this is developing a mentality. Therefore, you don't even have to speak words, and a person kind of know how far they can go with you. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing: when you get put into a situation when you allow a person to make you feel uncomfortable, or you allow a person to make you feel vulnerable, or you allow a person to slightly take advantage of you, then you need to know that your space and your soft spot is getting hit, because you have agreed to terms and conditions and have been influenced and shared too much of your space, to the point that now something seems like it's the right thing to do that actually harm your space in some way, shape, or form. For an example, right? You might have manifested a person in your life, right? And for the most part, this person got all the motherfucking problems in the world. So you have developed some type of sense or higher perspective that for your blessings or for something good to go in your life, you're here to help this person. Like, you probably develop some whole religious sense that, okay, I'm here to actually help this person, and this is what's going to benefit me in my life and things of that nature. Now, remind you, this person going through all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Every time you're around this person, you go broke, or y'all get into some bullshit, or you end up crying, or you end up having to spend way more of your time on whatever they got going on, and then you end up fucking up whatever you got going on in your personal life in some way, shape, or form. Like, someone just throw you off your task and things of that nature. But for the most part, based upon the way this person cried, or based upon how many experiences y'all got together, or based upon, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature, you look at these things as ways to interpret it and come up with an intellect, like, okay, but this is why this person in my life, and this is why I gotta help him, and things of that. You need to know that you're telling yourself a lie. You need to know that you are lost in the light in some way, shape, or form. Whether that light is passion, love, intellect, wisdom, whatever. You're lost in the light of it in some way, shape, or form. So keep that in mind also. And you need to know that you're not doing nothing but damaging your spirit, putting it in hell. Because the more intellect, ideas, feelings and emotions that you come up with around that scenario, that play out as fire, hot water in the esoteric realm, right? And if the water cool off, it's a world that you end up getting lost in and needing goggles, because you're lost by all these influences and shit of that nature. So you end up being in a spiritual hell. And in a third dimension, you end up thinking this is the right thing to do. So it's almost like spirits like suffering in some way, shape, or form. I don't know where this come from. I think it comes from spirits coming from the negative space, the negative stage, but spirits like suffering. And when the spirits start to ride too many waves and start to feel too good, it start to create circumstances and situations for it to suffer again in some way, shape, or form. So I don't know if this is a thing about spirits that's just in this frequency vibration as far as the third dimensional realm, or is this just a thing that spirits like to do in general in all realms of realities. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to dive a little deeper into that. But when we start to talk about hellistic natures, this is why you even got a body. But there's a circumstance even that's behind spirits. You could almost, like, even if you start to gain too much, you would start to feel guilty. You would start to feel the necessary need to give back in some way, shape, or form. And therefore, even if it means giving something away that you truly wanted or needed or deserved and things of that nature. So there comes a time where you just have to sit back and think about it. Like, okay, there's something that all spirits is doing, and spirits don't really like being satisfied. Spirits like being unsatisfied, and anytime it's too much satisfaction going on, a spirit will create a scenario of unsatisfaction in some way. And all your scenarios in your life that you unsatisfied with, you need to know that you manifested that. And we have way more unsatisfactory circumstances than satisfaction. And anytime you gain something that looks like it was a form of satisfaction or you're going to be satisfied with, you end up becoming bored or unsatisfied with it a lot faster. And then you end up experiencing way more circumstances and situations of being unsatisfied. It's almost like spirits like swimming through heavy waters. I don't even think spirits like swimming through light waters. Like it's I don't know. It's weird, but we'll break that more down when we talk about the live tonight. But at the same time, I'm starting to think about that. Like, I think spirits itself, just spirit nature, you know what I'm saying, come from a negative place in general. And it took a while to reach a positive space. But all that in between is where all the lights have been created from a space reaching a positive space. And everything was created is like shapes and forms and representations on how to reach that positive space. So this is why energy is positive. This is why the masculine energy is positive. This is why male positive. When I say male, I'm just talking about mass, man, woman. That's mentalities, atoms, thought forms, lights, anything externally. That's why it's seen as positive. Now, since it's pushed out in the third dimension, everything is in reverse. So what y'all think is positive is actually negative in the third, in the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional realm. So all the things that y'all do, that y'all cling to down here, that y'all think is positive, is really what's destroying y'all. Now, when I say that, that don't mean take my knowledge and then you ain't got no wisdom, so you getting ready to look at everything that everybody doing in the third dimensional realm that people see as positive, and you getting ready to do the complete 180, the complete opposite. No, that's not what I'm actually talking about. Everything is a percentage level. Know what realm of reality and what dimension that you are in, and know how much that's actually playing out. So you could know not to go too far with it. And once you go too far, you're on the whole opposite end of a polar shift. You're not in a balanced space of it. Not even in a good percentage level close to the balanced center space of it. And you need to look at everything with that 3 surroundings. And for the most part, you'll be able to see the essence out of something. So keep that in mind also. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. But yeah, flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.